Hello everyone. This video is about the most important vocabulary that the students who are preparing for SSC CGL or CHSL and other related competitive examinations. మనం ఎస్ఎస్సి సిజిఎల్కి సంబంధించి స్టాఫ్ సెలక్షన్ కమిషన్ సిహెచ్ఎస్ఎల్కి సంబంధించి ఇటువంటి కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్కి వొకాబులరీ ఎలా ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వాలో ఆల్రెడీ ఒక వీడియోలో నేను చాలా క్లియర్గా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. ఎవరైతే ఆ వీడియో చూడలేదో నేను ఈ వీడియో డిస్క్రిప్షన్లో ఆ లింక్ కూడా ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తాను. మీరు ఆ వీడియో చూడండి. దాని టైటిల్ హౌ అండ్ వాట్ టు స్టడీ వొకాబులరీ అని ఉంటుంది. వొకాబులరీ ఎలా చదవాలి, ఏం చదవాలి. అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం ఎస్ఎస్సి సిజిఎల్కి సంబంధించి స్టాఫ్ సెలక్షన్ కమిషన్ సిజిఎల్కు సంబంధించి మనం చదవాల్సిన వొకాబులరీ ఎలా చదవాలి, ఏం చదవాలి. వొకాబులరీతో ఒక పెద్ద ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది. నేను అంత ముందు కూడా చెప్పాను. వొకాబులరీకి సిలబస్ ఉండదు, చాలా వర్డ్స్ ఉంటాయి. యూ కెన్ హ్యావ్ ఎన్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్ ఇన్ గ్రామర్ బట్ యూ కెనాట్ హ్యావ్ ఎన్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్ ఇన్ వొకాబులరీ. నేను ప్రతిసారి చెప్తుంటాను. అయితే వొకాబులరీకి సంబంధించి అన్ని వర్డ్స్ ఎవరం చదవలేము, కానీ ఒక టార్గెట్ పెట్టుకోవాలి. ఎన్ని వర్డ్స్ చదవాలో ముందే ఒక డెడ్ లైన్ పెట్టుకుని పర్ డే దాన్ని డివైడ్ చేసుకుని చదువుకుంటూ వెళ్తే వొకాబులరీలో కూడా మనం స్కోర్ చేయొచ్చు. ప్లీజ్ రిమెంబర్, వొకాబులరీ చాలామంది చదవరు. దానివల్ల ఏమవుతుందంటే కట్ ఆఫ్ మిస్ అయ్యే ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది. కాబట్టి మనం దాన్ని కూడా మిస్ చేసుకోకుండా వీ హ్యావ్ టు ఫోకస్ ఆన్ వొకాబులరీ. ఎర్లియర్గా నేను వొకాబులరీ విషయంలో మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ 400 వొకాబులరీ అని ఒక వీడియో మీకు షేర్ చేస్తాను. దానికి సంబంధించి ఆల్రెడీ వొకాబులరీ పార్ట్ 1, వొకాబులరీ పార్ట్ 2 కూడా ఆల్రెడీ మీతో షేర్ చేస్తాను. ఆ వీడియోస్కి సంబంధించిన లింక్ నేను ఈ డిస్క్రిప్షన్లో యాడ్ చేస్తాను. ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు హ్యావ్ ఎ లుక్ అట్ దట్, యూ కెన్ హ్యావ్ ఎ లుక్ అట్ దట్. ఈ వీడియోలో పార్ట్ 3 అంటే మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ వొకాబులరీకి సంబంధించి పార్ట్ 3. ఈ వీడియోలో మనం ఒక మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ 20 వర్డ్స్ మనం డిస్కస్ చేయబోతున్నాం. అయితే నేను ఈ వర్డ్స్కి సంబంధించి మీనింగ్ నేను బోర్డు మీద రాయట్లేదు. I'll tell you the meaning of that with a good example, with a useful example, with an example which you can easily remember. So after every vocabulary, if possible, pause the vocabulary, think for a while whether you know the word or not. అప్పుడు నేను ఆ ఆన్సర్ చెప్పినప్పుడు you can have a running notes. So every vocabulary you can have a pause button, then think whether you know the meaning of the word or not. We'll start the first word, vacuous. ఇది చాలా ఈజీ అని చెప్పచ్చు, ఎందుకంటే వాక్యూమ్ అంటాం మనందరం కూడా, VACUOUS. సో వాక్యూమ్ అంటే ఏమీ లేకపోవడం కదా, ఎంటీ. అదే డైరెక్ట్గా మీరు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవచ్చు. వాక్యూస్ అంటే దెర్ ఇస్ నథింగ్ మచ్ అంటాం. దెర్ ఇస్ నథింగ్ మచ్, అది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలని ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తాను. హిస్ ప్రెజెంటేషన్ ఇస్ వాక్యూస్. షీ మేడ్ ఎ వాక్యూస్ క్లెయిమ్. She made a vacuous claim ante she made a claim, but there is no sense in that. There is no proper content in that. So vacuous ante very close to vacuum kabatti easy ga meeru gurtupettukochu. I'm repeating the example. She made a vacuous claim. So vacuous means nothing much. Wreak, WREAK, wreak. What is meant by wreak? Causing a lot of damage. I'll give an example. The recent cyclone may wreak a heavy damage to the livelihood of many people. So wreak means causing a lot of damage. Versatile. Versatile is a word very commonly we use in our day-to-day lives. I'll give the best example. Kamal Haasan is a versatile actor. You can say multi-talented. Very easy, right? So versatile is being very adaptable, being very flexible, being very, something like multi-talented. So Kamal Haasan is a versatile actor. Overtly. Very easy to remember. Overtly means openly. So easy, right? Overtly, openly. And students, remember, in this video, I'm not getting into synonyms. If I have to get into synonyms, every word I can give you at least 6 to 7 words. But that is not my objective here. My objective in this video is to just share with you some words and their meanings. You might have a doubt. You might have a question. So then what about synonyms? How do we study synonyms? I always say this. You should not study synonyms separately. Your job is simply to study the words and the meanings In that process, naturally, you will learn the synonyms and antonyms. మీరు synonyms separately చదివినా antonyms separately చదివినా it doesn't work because you cannot remember. In a long run, you will forget them. So words meaning చదువుకుంటూ వెళ్తే ఆటోమేటిక్గా synonyms antonyms అవే మన దగ్గరికి వస్తాయి. So overtly means openly. Hapless. What is hapless? Helpless. She is in a hapless situation. She is in a helpless situation. Very easy to remember, right? Hapless, helpless. The next word is a very important word. I use this word even in my regular communication. Assiduity. Assiduity. In Telugu we say sankalpam, right? So sankalpam undali antamu. Assiduity is the same, having focus and determination. So his assiduity brought him success. So try to have assiduity in whichever field you choose and whatever domain you're working in. Assiduity gives you sure shot success. Accrue. What is accrue? You find this word accrue very often on the newspaper. So accrue means what? Accrue means increase, rise in something. When you talk about the rise in price of oil or petrol or something like that, we use the word accrue, increase. Rudiment, something very beginning, in the rudimentary phase, very beginning phase. Haggard. So what is Haggard? Getting tired. When I teach continuously for many hours at a stretch, I feel haggard. I get tired. Transient. I'll give an example. My friend, don't worry too much about the problem. This is not going to be a permanent problem. This situation is just transient. So what is transient? Temporary. I'm repeating the example. My friend, don't worry. This situation is transient. Nothing much to worry. Temporary, right? So I'm always sure of one fact. When you study the vocabulary with the right example, it will be very easy for you to remember. Please remember, examples must be created by you. Like I created my own examples, you create your own examples, because your example will help you more than anybody. And your example is always suitable for your memory. So you create your own example. I'm repeating, transient. Don't worry, this situation is transient, right? So I've discussed 10 words. Now what you can do is, you can go back to the video from the beginning and look at every word, pause it and try to recall the vocabulary meaning. And if you don't get it quick, again watch it back, because vocabulary can be remembered the best only when you can remember the example every time. Okay, you can just do that. I'll continue with my 11 to 20 words very quickly. Pragmatic, practical, lust. We use lust very often in our lives also, right? Lust will never get you peace and happiness. So lust is excessive desire. A few people have lust for success. Some have lust for recognition. Some have lust for identity. Some have lust for sex. Some have lust for money and so on. So lust means excessive desire. Betrothed. Betrophed. Betrothed. What is betrothed? Someone to whom you are engaged. We say he is my betrothed. Okay. So someone to whom you are engaged is called betrothed. We say betrothal ceremony also. Betrothal ceremony. Apartheid. Apartheid. In that nation, still apartheid exists. ఆ కంట్రీలో ఇంకా apartheid ఉంది. So apartheid means racial discrimination. You divide the people based on a race or caste. So apartheid is never good for the progress of any country. Apartheid means racial discrimination. Admonish. My father always admonishes me never to give up, not to give up. So my father always admonishes me not to give up. So admonish is a kind of warning, a scold, or force someone, but admonish is mostly used in a positive context. So my grandfather admonishes me to do exercise every day. So admonish is warning someone for a good sake. The teacher admonishes the students never to lose hope. Alacrity, it's a beautiful word, one of my favorite words. Alacrity means interest to do something. Eagerness, పని చెయ్యాలి అన్న ఒక తపన, కుతూహలం అంటాం కదా, ఇష్టం. సో అలాక్రిటీ మీన్స్ willingness. Some people have willingness to do things, some people don't. Imagine a youngster joined an organization in the beginning of his career. He always wants to prove his mettle and impress his higher authorities, right? So usually any youngster who joins the private organization or the government sector in the beginning of the career, usually he carries a lot of alacrity, willingness to do. Supposition. Before I tell you the meaning of supposition, I have something to tell you. If you're not able to understand the spelling properly, or you're not able to understand the word, don't worry, in the description of the video, I will also mention all these 20 words so that there is no confusion in that regard. Supposition. What is meant by supposition? Suppose, we usually say kada, మనం normal language లో if suppose అంటారు కొంతమంది. Suppose, ఒకవేళ, the meaning is ఒకవేళ. Supposition కూడా same. Your supposition will not be true. నువ్వు అనుకుంటుంది జరగకపోవచ్చు. So supposition means assumption. Vaguely. The candidate who is unprepared attended the interview and answered all the questions vaguely. The student who is not prepared enough attended the viva and answered all the questions vaguely. So vaguely is unclearly, without proper clarity. When you're not prepared enough, you go with a lot of vague answers, right? So vaguely means lack of proper clarity. So don't answer vaguely in the interviews. If you do not know, say I don't know, I'm sorry, but I'll find it. I'll learn the answer, I'll get the answer. If you know, answer the question clearly, but never give vague answers. So we also say this. His argument seems to be vague. Your point is vague, so unclear. Vigilant. My uncle is a vigilant person. You know what is vigilance? We have vigilance department, observing very keenly, right? So my uncle is a vigilant person means he has very good observation skills. He can observe the things. Like we say in idiom, eagle's eye. Eagle's eye. Like vigilant person who is observant. You can't cheat him. Odious. Yesterday I had an odious experience. I went to my uncle's home yesterday. There I had an odious experience. Or my aunt prepared food, prepared something, and I ate it. But it was odious taste, very unpleasant, very bad. You can say bitter. So odious is unpleasant, bad. We usually say odious experience or odious taste. Odious taste. Now, having said all this, I again request you to pause it and check whether you remember the meanings properly or not. Practice as many times as possible so that you will remember. Please don't keep on learning the words without making sure whether you remember or not. Quantity will never help you unless you have the enough quality. So don't believe in too much quantity. I've seen a few people who say I'll study 1,000 words, but they can't remember even 100. So don't have 1,000 words at a stretch. Learn 20 a day, but make sure you remember. Recall the examples. In one of these words, I have given you the example of my father warning me not to lose hope. What is the word? My father warned me not to lose hope. Admonish. 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 I have given you one more word where we say there is a rise in petrol price, or there is a rise in oil price, increase. Accrue. I've given you one more example where if I teach continuously for many hours, I get tired. I feel Haggard. I also said this. Don't worry, my friend. Don't worry. Don't think too much about this problem. This problem is temporary, transient. Examples will make the difference. They will help you remember the vocabulary much better. So this is about the vocabulary part 3, the most important vocabulary for SSC CGL. And remember, when you prepare for SSC CGL, CHSL and MTS naturally become very easy. I'm sure this is useful and interesting as well. I'm mentioning all the vocabulary in the description also. I wish you a very good luck and focus on the vocabulary. Make sure you get the desired result at any cost, no compromise. Success is yours when you have, where is that? Assiduity. All the best.